Alright guys, welcome back to the Marvel Snap video. So yesterday we got leaks towards the cards coming in February, and I was shocked because I didn't see anyone cover it on YouTube or even on Twitter, so I was kind of surprised by it. But now I realized, okay, well, it's because these are very, very basic, but something that no one's covered, so I thought, you know, we'll cover it because it will make for an interesting video. And they actually have some really cool abilities. While we don't know the full extent of what these cards do, because as you can see on screen now, all we have is their name. We don't have how they look in game, like the card arts. We don't have their cost or power. And we have their abilities, which I guess is the most important thing. But we don't know, as we scroll down, how much the abilities go up by. You'll see later on, for example, someone moves and they gain power, but we don't know how much power they gain. So you can't gauge the full power of the abilities. But I still want to talk about it because it is quite interesting. And of course, for the video, on screen now, you can see the card arts that I have made personally, just so when you're watching the video, you'll have a better experience rather than just seeing the casual Snap logo, basically. Alright, so before the video starts, I always forget to say this because I'm not used to my other channel, but if you guys are new, we're trying to hit 1k subs by the end of the year, so if you can subscribe, it will help out the channel, especially to get me to 1k. Now, we saw with the Marvel Rivals collaboration, they came out very, very late into the league, so this might be how we go about leaks going forward, where they just either add the text or they drop a bunch all at once. You know, second thing that has been very weird about how they go about leaks now, so maybe this is how they do about going forward. So let's start with the first card being Sam Wilson, which yes, is just a Falcon, but his actual full name, and that's something to do more often now, once again, more or less when it's, you know, fit in for like the movie, for example. But I will not be surprised going forward if we get like Peter Parker, we get, you know, Logan, you know, actual popular characters but different versions of them, whether that be like the symbiote Spider-Man or, like, let's say Logan, and more like dual characters like Cloak and Dagger. This is something that they're going to do more often, which I'm definitely all for, because, you know, the big problem, or not big problem, but a problem with Marvel Snap is all the main MCU little bit, all the big popular characters are all in the early season because they want you to keep playing the game and they want you to play a character you actually know with. But then you actually get towards Series 5 and the end game a little bit, all the best cards are characters most people, at least the casuals, won't actually know about. So this is their way of going back and redoing characters and making them hopefully a little better. So let's start off with Sam Wilson, which is more likely to be the Season Pass card, and very unique a little bit. So what he does do is, at the start of the game, he is going to add Captain America's shield to a random location. Yes, straight away at the start of the game, not like how we have, you know, adding to your hand or even to your deck. This is definitely something new, and he has the ongoing, or see, it's weird. I think you can only move Captain America's shield when he's in play. Because from the looks of it, yes, Sam Wilson's ongoing is you can move Captain America's shield. So unless he's a one-cost card, like I said, we don't know how much he actually costs. You won't be able to move Captain America's shield until Sam Wilson is in play. And yeah, like I say, this is more likely going to be the actual Season Pass card. But let's go towards what Captain America's shield actually does, because it does have its own ability. Okay, so Captain America's shield has the ongoing. This card cannot be destroyed. More likely, it's going to be like a one-cost card. So maybe it's like a zoo buffer a little bit, but we don't know how much the actual ability is, and you hope it costs at least one, or power, at least has one power, just so if there is that location where you have to get one power in to win, this will be very, very helpful. This card cannot be destroyed, but remember, above us, you know, Sam Wilson, if he is in play, you can actually move the Cap shield, which I do think has a lot of flavor, because Captain America's shield, you know, it bounces around, so it is essentially like a move card. And yeah, what it does say is add X power towards your Captain America, I assume, when this card moves towards Captain's location. It's possible, because it does say Captain and Sam Wilson's not called Captain, it should literally be Captain America's shield. And I very much like it because you kind of move it towards location. Captain America is grabbing the shield and boom, he gains power. Now going back towards Sam Wilson, you can see the moving Cap shield. It doesn't say, you know, once per game. So you might be able to proc that buff that Captain Shield does actually do towards Captain America if you can keep on moving it into the Cap lane. Obviously, it would take, like, you know, 2 times the proc, but you might be able to move it out into like a Craven lane, move it back into a Cap lane, and keep on buffing up a little bit. So I very much like this. This is not really a move card. And what I like is obviously both have ongoings of, yeah, you can move Cap shield and you can't be destroyed, which means it's more likely going to fit into like a full ongoing deck a little bit, which is probably where you want to use Captain America, because he also has an ongoing, so that Spectrum buff a little bit might come into play. Yeah, unique card, once again, giving some much love towards, obviously, Captain America. We'll have to wait and see how much the buff does actually buff up, because if it's very little, then it's more likely you can keep on moving it. But if it's just one big buff, like I think if you remember Surtur, well, no, it's Mephisto. Who was it? I think it was Surtur or Mephisto. One of them, the old leaks were if you move Human Torch into that card, you then get plus 10 power. I don't imagine it's going to be this outrageous. It's probably going to be on the lower end. But hey, a big cat buff. We love to see it. Next card, and if you don't know my channel, we do love some move cards, and this is a move card. So Batroc the Leaper, which is I think from the Gwenpool comics, is going to make an appearance, and since he as the name suggests, Batroc the Leaper, he's going to be leaping around the board. So whenever a card moves, this moves with it and gains X power. So the wording is very, he only when he moves, he gains power with the card, right? So very much like a Werewolf by Night, but rather than being on reveals, you're moving cards. And that's something that I really wanted, because I thought Werewolf by Night would be a move card because he's moving around and also has a lot on reveals, which is what you do with, like, Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, all them cards. However, it didn't really work out like that. What you actually wanted to use Werewolf by Night in was more or less bounce shells and, of course, on reveal shells, but didn't really fit in towards the move card. So this is basically Werewolf by Night, but now for move card, which I do actually like a little bit. Now, once again, we don't have the pot cost and power. I do imagine it's going to be a little bit cheaper, like they do say down here, maybe a 2-1, where if you keep on moving every single turn, probably more likely by turn 3 and 4 and stuff, you can start moving around to where he can kind of be like the Fina, the Angela, but for move cards. A good scaler, because we don't really have that for the move deck. I thought, simply put, the move deck was going to get stuff like Mobius, where you get like 1 power every single time a card moves in the game. To be fair, they can still do that for like a big 6 cost, where like, yeah, it's like, Destroy, where you gain power for destroying cards, where this time you're going to gain power every single time you move a card. And if you can like cheat like Heimdall out, I just got off topic a little bit, but you cheat Heimdall out, he moves everyone to the left, and boom, you have like another big 6 cost card. That's something that I want to see for the move, and this is kind of more like a tame version of it. But it does say, yeah, whenever a card moves, this moves with it and gains the power. So, and it only once per turn, so it's not really like it's not Werewolf by Night where you can keep on moving. So it's got to be a bit bigger, but also a bit smaller. We'll have to wait and see. Next card is Cobra, which, as you can see, this one's very, very tricky to play around with because it's based on your opponent. You can only play this where your opponent has 1 card. Now, that is very, very restricted. There'll be some games where you literally cannot even play him, because remember, you have to have at least 1 card. It can't be 0. They do say down here, it's very similar to Cobra Obsidian, to where you can only play Cobra Obsidian where there's a 1-cost card. But you have agency over that. You can play that 1-cost card and a Cobra Obsidian on the same turn, where, yeah, Cobra's not going to be like that. So you can imagine this card would definitely be, I'd imagine, a big 3-cost card. But yeah, I think this fits in quite well with the 3-cost, and this is an outrageous big 4-cost card. But you already have drawbacks with obviously speed, where if you don't fill out the curve or fit, play all your energy, you don't get the buff. Or Gladiator, given a big cost card you can't destroy. So I think that's what it's going to be, a big 3-7, 3-8. Next card is Diamondback. Now, I have got the female one because I think there are 2 characters. There's a male and female, but I think I saw a thumbnail where Diamondback, the female, is going to be in the new movie, so I'm assuming this is what it's going to be based off. This card looks crazy, actually. So your opponent's card at this location that lose power, lose an additional power. Maybe it's like 1 or 2, right? Now, it's important to know that I imagine ongoings don't affect the card. You have to actually lose it. If you play like Man-Thing, for example, it's not actually going to lose the power. It won't double it, I imagine. Maybe it does. But, if you do like a hazmat on a lane, and in this card's also here, that they're going to lose 1 each, and they lose even more as well. It can probably get really, really crazy. I'm thinking a little bit towards like synergy with the new card coming out this month, which is going to be, Rocking Fruit, where you steal power, because it has to be they lose power at that location. It's not, if they lost power beforehand and you play it there. Because if they lose power in your deck or hand, it won't trigger this ability. I think there are some cards coming out in January, and I think some others that have been leaked as well, where you can gain power or like steal power a little bit. So I think this is what it's going to be benefiting a little bit towards. So it may not make sense now a little bit, but I think later on it will, but by the time this card comes out at least. Okay, next card, once again, from the movie is Joaquin Torres, which I think is literally the new Falcon, but like an actual Falcon. Like he's got actual like Falcon wings, I think, attached to his arm. And what this does say is ongoing, the on-reveal abilities of your X-Cost cards trigger at this location twice. So once again, like we don't know how good this card is going to be, because is it 1-cost cards? Is it 2? Is it 3? I imagine it'll be one of those 3 cards rather than the later ones, because that might get a bit too much. But even then, 1-cost cards would be crazy. Like imagine a double rock in like a bounce deck, and you Falcon the rocket back. That's where it might be, because then that's kind of what you want to do, is Falcon back the 1-cost and repeat the abilities and repeat it again with Joaquin Torres. So I imagine it would be 1. But also would make sense to be 2 or 3, just because I think 1-cost could get a little bit outrageous. Like imagine doubling the rocks, doubling Iceman, doubling, Rocket. Like I said, it's going to be crazy. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's between 1, 2, or 3. Redwing will be a natural card here, and I think it's one thing they confirmed a little bit a while ago, where I think Kitty Pryde, I forgot what the dragon's called, like it's in the artwork prominently, and people said, does that deconfirm that card being playable? And they actually said no. So this is once again them going back and adding more pets to the game a little bit. So Redwing, on reveal, return one of your X-Force cards to your hand and give it X power. Little bit like a bounce card, but anywhere on the field. Once again, very much like Falcon, and it's only one. So I imagine it won't be a 1 cost, it'll probably be like a 2 cost, which was gonna be crazy to like play all your 1 costs, Falcon it, and then depending on how much this card actually costs, you can then call back Falcon on the same turn if it's like 2-2, and then on 5 play your 1 cost and then Falcon back again. Yeah, like I think they're just buffing up Falcon a lot here. We have to wait and see. And then we have Thaddeus Ross, which is basically the human version of Red Hawk. And once again, keeping towards that theme of being similar to Hulk a little bit, or I guess in this case, Bruce Banner, if you remember what he's going to do when he comes out this month, or I guess next month, it's still the 30th right now. At the end of the turn, if you have unspent energy, there's a 25% chance to transform into the Hulk. And this card, once again, like Red Hulk, going to be broken a little bit. Whenever your opponent ends the turn with unspent energy, draws a card with X or more power, which is, yeah, they once again, Marvel Snap, Second Dinner have been very restricted when it comes towards drawing cards. So it's not just draw a card, that might be a bit too broken. So it's with X amount of power, so it's probably gonna be like high amount, so you can more or less guarantee you're gonna pull your Red Hulk. That's what it's probably alluding to a little bit, and your big 6-cost card. I imagine it'll be 8 or more, or 9 or more, because I don't think they're gonna allow you to draw like your 3-cost cards with like high power. So you're not gonna be drawing all the cards, and if anything, you know, definitely not anything lower than 6. If you could draw like hella, that'd be insane too, right? And yeah, that's the human version of Red Hulk. So yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. Those are all the cards. I do like a lot of the synergies they have right now with like all kind of coincide with each other, and you know, fitting into the theme of like buffing up Captain America, you know, some of them even making and buffing up your Falcon a little bit, having more use towards him, and even like, you know, Red Hulk human version being a counter towards, obviously, you know, Bruce Banner coming out in a few weeks now. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up the video. Let me know what your card you're looking forward towards the most. For me, of course, is the Leaper. Batroc is a move card during a season where it's not really meant to be a move season, so we love to see it. So guys, thank you for watching the video, and yeah.